Have you ever tasted a chocolate bar and thought to yourself, gee, I know I'm tasting flavors in this chocolate bar, but I don't exactly know what words to describe those flavors that I'm tasting? If that's true, then you may be at the point in tasting craft chocolate where you want to start palate training, or otherwise known as building your chocolate vocabulary, so that you can quickly and easily identify what's going on in your mouth and help your brain remember all those things and those words that are going to help you describe it, so that when you're talking to other chocolate lovers, also known as chocolate tasting geeks like me, you will be able to communicate effectively and efficiently and find those words. So I use 3 tools to help me do this on a regular basis. First tool is a chocolate tasting wheel, and I have several of them. Here's one. And right along with the chocolate tasting wheel, I use these chocolate tasting note cards that came from a kit that I got from Granny. It's her chocolate tasting kit, and these are included in there. Now, they work the same way. You find a flavor that you are tasting in a chocolate. Like this morning, I was tasting this Dulcinea chocolate bar. It's from Guatemala. Fantastic chocolate bar. But I was tasting some notes, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what notes I was tasting. I knew it was down the roasty, earthy scale, but I really didn't know how to explain it. So I pulled out my roasted and my earthy note cards, and I was very quickly able to say, okay, I taste some leather and I taste some tobacco. Not that I've eaten leather, but you smell leather, and those scents transfer into flavors in your brain. So don't worry about that. I'm not eating leather. But leather and tobacco were some of the notes that I tasted on the earthy scale. And then on the roasted scale, that was a little bit harder for me to nail down, because I tasted burned, but it wasn't a burned bad flavor. And what I finally realized by using both this and the chocolate tasting wheel that I have here is that I was tasting burned sugar, like you get on top of creme brulee, because it was a very pleasing, fantastic burned taste that I would like to taste again. And at the very, very end of the tasting, the finish had a little bit of coffee notes in it. Not bad coffee, really good espresso, fantastic coffee notes. Just a little touch of it, not a lot. So that's where the roasted notes were coming from. So that is how I use those types of things in tasting chocolate. Now, there's 2 other things that I do use. Number 1, I will taste a food specifically for, how do I explain this? If I taste a note in chocolate, like I tasted figs in chocolate quite a while ago. Not that there were figs in the chocolate, I tasted fig notes in the chocolate that I was tasting, but I wanted to get really specific on what kind of fig notes I'm tasting. So what I did is I bought every kind of fig I could, black figs, Kalimurna figs, and then my friends like Terry, she brought me more figs. I think they were Adriatic figs, little fuzzy figs that I had never seen before. And so I put them all together on a plate and got my journal out and started tasting with my warm water so I could cleanse my palate between them, one by one, and writing down the notes. And they were all vastly different, all figgy, but all vastly different. So now when I'm tasting fig in chocolate, I can quickly and clearly identify that's black fig, or that's a Kalimurna fig taste that I'm tasting in chocolate. So I really, really like that method if you are tasting one specific flavor over and over again in chocolate and you really want to narrow it down. Third thing that I do is I slow down and recognize the tastes that I am experiencing on a regular basis with every meal or every snack. So, for instance, if I'm tasting eggs or if I'm eating eggs in the morning for breakfast, I will slow down enough to think about, what am I tasting? Is it the umami flavor that I'm tasting and I'm enjoying? What other flavors are in there? If it's oatmeal, oatmeal can get complicated. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of different flavors in oatmeal. So tea, black tea actually presents itself quite often in chocolate. So if you're tasting tea, take note of what kind of tea you're tasting. Is it Assam tea? And what does it taste like? And help those little memories get into your brain, because that's going to help you identify those notes in chocolate. And my very, very last tip, my fourth, well, it's actually fourth, it's your bonus tip for today, is journal, 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 journal. This is my chocolate tasting journal right now. As you taste things, especially chocolate, journal what you are tasting, what bar it was, when you were tasting it, that kind of thing, because actually the habit of writing it down is going to help you remember more, and then you can refer back to it. And that's going to help you find the best chocolate in the entire world, because the best chocolate in the world is really the chocolate that is most appealing to you. And if you've journaled and you taste and you recognize those tastes, you're going to be able to find the chocolates that you like the best and recreate those experiences again and again. So thanks so much. If you really like this video, I want you to like it. I want your comments. I want you to know, I want to know what you're thinking about these videos and what you think about tasting chocolate and palate training. And if you want to share this with your chocolate loving friends, I would not mind at all. and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Thanks so much. See you next week.